Judgement and attachment. What is gently with compassion? You are where you should Be still.
Good morning. Welcome to the First Unitarian Society of Milwaukee. I'm Reverend Jennifer Nordstrom. My pronouns are she and her, and our opening words this morning are the poem Noticing by Janice Ray. 1. I would not have seen the web a spider strung between us and sky, except the sun crested the cliff along the bay of Fundy. Finally, our long night beside Mill Creek was over. I greeted the light. A shimmer is not a moon blade, not the disk of sun plating tips of red spruce silver. So much depends on where one looks and when. So much is happenstance, accident, grace. Too often, the little voices that say, see and there, are silent. 2. But I see the web, nothing more than another life noticed, which is our job while we are here. 3. Notice how quickly the bay recedes, abandoning more of its red pebbled beach, leaving rocks blanketed with orange seaweed. Notice how back along the cliff white asters with gold discs bloom in pockets of loose mineral, and the strange branched
Good morning. I am Reverend Kimberly Tomchuk Carlson. I use she, her pronouns, and it's my honor to serve as your minister of faith formation. The story I have for you today is called The Sound of Silence, and it's by Katrina Gulsado. Little Yoshio wiggled with anticipation. 3, 2, 1, he threw open the front door. The sounds of the city swirled all around him. Tokyo was a symphony hall. Yoshio listened to the sound of his boots squishing and squashing through the puddles, and the tiny raindrops pattering on his umbrella, and the sound of his giddy giggles. It just made him giggle, even more. Suddenly, Yoshio heard the strangest sound, high and low, and then squeaky and vibrating. Amazing. It was a koto player, carefully tuning her instrument. Then the koto player played, and the notes were twangy and twinkling, and they tickled Yoshio's ears. When the song finished, Yoshio said, "Sensei, I love sounds, but I've never heard a sound like that." The Kyoto player laughed. It sounded like the metal bell that swayed in the wind in Mama's garden. "Sensei," Yoshio asked, "do you have a favorite sound?" "Oh, the most beautiful sound," the koto player said, "is the sound of ma, of silence." "Silence?" Yoshio asked. But the koto player just smiled a mysterious smile and went back to playing. Yoshio bowed to the koto player and ran to school. Where can I find silence? Yoshio wondered as he listened to the thwack of his boots on the pavement. He listened to it all through the school day, but there was always some kid making some noise. At recess, the sun came out and Yoshio went to the quietest place he knew, the bamboo grove, at the edge of the playground. But even there, the bamboo made a taki, taki, taki sound as the wind banged its stalks together. He closed his eyes and he heard the swish, swish, swish of the wind, making the leaves talk. It was beautiful, but it wasn't silence. Walking home from school, Yoshio listened hard. He could hear the horns of the buses and the whoosh of the bullet trains and the beep, beep, beep of the traffic lights, but no silence. Yoshio knew so many different sounds, loud and soft, sudden and soothing, but silence? Where was the silence? It wasn't in the dining room where there was always the sound of chopsticks and slurping and chewing and swallowing. What a noisy family he had. Silence wasn't in the bath. Even there, his toes made noise and little droplets of water kept dripping off his nose. Drip, drip, drip. That night, Yoshio tried to stay up late to catch the silence while his family slept. But his eyes got heavier and heavier, and soon the sound of a distant radio became part of his dreams. The next morning, Yoshio woke up to the neighbor's dog barking, and he had missed the silence. He walked to school early. His sisters whizzed by him on their way to the park, screeching Yoshio's name. Where was the silence? Yoshio heard the creak of the school gates as he pulled them open. No one was at school yet. He put on his inside shoes and listened as they shuffled on the shiny floor. The classroom felt different without anyone in it. He sat at his desk by the window and pulled out a book. He loved this story, and as he read, he forgot where he was. And suddenly, in the middle of a page, he heard it. No sound of footsteps, no people chattering, no radios, no bamboo, no kotos being played. In that very short moment, Yoshio couldn't hear the sound of his own breath. Everything felt still inside him, peaceful, like the garden after it snowed, like feather-stuffed futons drying in the sun. Silence, it had been there all along. It had been there between the thump of his boots when he ran, when the wind stopped for just a moment in the bamboo grove, at the end of his family's meal when everyone was happy and full, after the water finished draining from his bathtub, before the kotos player music began, and hovering in the air right after it ended. It was in between and underneath every sound, and it had been there all along. Ma, silence. The end.
I invite you to join me now in a time of contemplation, which will be followed by silence, Ma, followed by the seated singing of hymn 123, Spirit of Life. So do what you need to do to prepare yourself to enter that space. Maybe you use your breath to tune in. Maybe you wiggle your toes and feel your feet. Maybe you can feel the very tip top of your head reaching up. Spirit of life and love, Holy One of our being and our becoming, that which is sacred within, among, and beyond us. May we hear that silent note hanging between the symphony of sounds today. May it bring our attention to depth and beauty and love. May we notice all that is living in this moment. May we witness the bell ringing in the distance, the waves crashing on lake shore, the silly, warm smile of a child. In each moment, may we be present. May we come into being. May we use our attention to tune in to hear now. And in this place of the living, may we feel the deeper connection of being with all that is. May it be so.
morning, everyone. Welcome to the First Unitarian Society of Milwaukee. I am Jen Murray, and I am pleased to serve as your worship associate. We are a faith community of many identities. We welcome people of all genders, sexualities, ages, races, ethnicities, histories, abilities, and bodies. We welcome your mind, your heart, and your spirit. We welcome all you are carrying with you today and all your heart longs to set down. We welcome all the people watching online, hi there, as we live stream this service. Hello and welcome. We enthusiastically welcome guests joining us today. If you are a guest visiting in person and want to connect with us, please fill out a welcome card located in the pew rack in front of you and drop it in the offering plates that will come around in a few minutes. If you are visiting online and want to connect, a link to connect with us will soon appear in the chat for you to click on and to fill out. Someone from church will reach out to connect with you. After the service, we invite you to join us for a social hour across the hall in the Leanhouse Common Room. Some accessibility notes. Hearing assist devices and large print hymnals and orders of service are at the back of the sanctuary, along with worship activity bags for children and anyone who wants them. There is a fragrance-free area in the front right pews. If you are watching online, you can enable YouTube's closed captioning on your viewing device. Now on to some announcements. If you can help during the 9 a.m. service just a few Sundays a year, it offers a meaningful gift to our families. I can attest this is very true. Parents are the backbone of our faith formation volunteers, and they also need time to be fully present at church. That's also very true. Okay, worshiping, connecting, and simply resting without caregiving responsibilities. Whew. Offering them an hour of reprieve supports our community and strengthens relationships across generations. We are looking for volunteers who enjoy leading games, creating art projects, and engaging with our children and youth. Come to Faith Formation Orientation today at 11:30 a.m. to discover where your gifts can shine. Let's keep the pressure on the Common Council and Mayor Johnson to pass the ICE Out MKE legislative package. 10th District Alderwoman Moore says, keep the postcards coming. Woohoo! All right. Packets of 3 or 16 postcards with stamps are available during coffee hour at the social justice table. From the Defend Democracy Group, postcards for the Supreme Court election. Cheer again, no, I'm just teasing. You are invited to help write postcards encouraging voting on April 7th for the Wisconsin Supreme Court election. Stop by the social justice table to pick up a packet of postcards and stamps. Then complete and mail the cards this week. Early voting starts on March 24th. Plastic bag collection returns to First Church. Every Sunday in March, place your plastic bags in the barrel in the hallway from where they will be collected and turned into a bench at a senior living facility. See the e-newsletter for a list of types of plastic bags that will be accepted. I invite you to share in our First Church purpose by joining me in a unison affirmation of our mission, which is printed in your order of service. We gather to nurture the spirit, engage the mind, and inspire action. Every week, we practice our values through sharing our resources. Our pledges are at the core of our spiritual practice of generosity. In addition, the church shares half of all non-pledged cash in an offering plate with a community organization practicing our value of interdependence. Today, we share the plate with Neighbors Helping Neighbors and Family Housing Fund. They are raising financial resources through the Twin Cities ICE Relief Fund to help 1,000 families stay housed and heal in community. The offering will now be gratefully received as we sing Seated, I Am Listening by Leah Morris, printed in your order of service. I invite all children, youth, and faith formation volunteers to sing the first verse, then follow Rev. Kimberly to the Leanhouse Common Room, and then downstairs for faith formation. If your child needs to check in, please join them. May the practice of giving bring us joy. Paying attention is sacred. Paying attention awakens us to divine partnerships, co-liberating collaborations, life-giving relationships, and meaningful connections. Just last week, our youth invited us to reflect on the attention economy, global atrocities being felt locally, and the prevalence of understandable anxiety. Some of just the many forces competing for our awareness. Their reflections lingered with me, because sometimes life has a way of focusing our attention far more quickly than we expect. Almost 1 year ago, my cellular device provided the instant connection I needed when my beloved, Megan, called me after receiving biopsy results from the oral surgeon. I heard the dreaded 3 words no one wants to hear uttered across the ethers into their ears. She said between stifled tears, "I have cancer." As 47-year-olds with a 13-year-old, a 9-year-old, and a loving partnership of 20 years, this was not a club that we ever wanted to belong to, and the timing felt wildly unfair. Suddenly, our attention was no longer scattered across the noise of the world. Our attention was brought sharply into the present moment, a natural state of being for my beloved. She finds joy in her everyday work, spending hours with family, and being spiritually uplifted by this community. She has never been one to get caught in the rote, mundane trap of autopilot. She embodies living in the here and now. In fact, she is the one who taught me the magic of the moment when we were first dating. Before my life with her, I never noticed the buds in springtime until they were already in full bloom. She reminds me to look up at the windows in this sanctuary and notice the way the light streams in. She has a knack for being with what is in each moment. And now, in the fullness of life that many of us in the sandwich generation know very well, caring for growing children and witnessing aging elders, we were stopped in our tracks and asked to pay attention, to slow down, to pace ourselves, to recalibrate how we were living. Cancer has a way of reorganizing time. There is life before diagnosis, life waiting for diagnosis and care plans, life during active treatment, life healing between treatment and surgery, life after surgery, life in remission, and life in what we affectionately call monitoring and meaning-making. Every time I wanted to plan too far ahead, my beloved gently reminded me that the only way to make it through any healing journey is to live in the moment, one day at a time. In the midst of this experience, this community surrounded our family with care. Meals arrived at our door, support was shared through the ministerial discretionary funds, friends transported our children to activities, people cared for the spirit and soul of our family when we needed it most. This upcoming St. Patrick's Day marks Megan's original cancerversary. While last year felt unlucky for this Irish human, we now find ourselves in deep appreciation. Earlier this month, Megan transitioned from active treatment for her November reoccurrence into live strong, recovery, and monitoring mode. That certainly deserves celebration, thank you. This last year of journeying with cancer, co-survivorship, and cancer caregiving has left our family with a metaphorical pot filled with gold. From serving as a worship associate, which you can still apply for, to witnessing our children in the youth service, to reading my spouse's brilliance on Caring Bridge, amidst grief, loss, learning, and unlearning, we have received an abundance of gifts that help us focus our attention on what matters most. Loving each other more fully, communicating from our hearts, being with what is, even when it is difficult, holding tenderly what we love and value, residing in the passageway of the present moment, being inside every breath, and finding joy in the little things and honoring grief and the loss of big things. With the meaningful mantra on our minds and in our hearts, one day at a time. As we celebrate this cancerversary, we remember the wisdom this journey revealed. Sometimes the most sacred thing we can do is simply pay attention and show up with unconditional presence. Thank you.
One of our worship associates was recently diagnosed with ADHD. And she was like, well, yeah, sure, I can see the struggles with attention, but is it really ADHD or is it just existence? Existence in this body, in this life, in this time. She is a mother of young children, working a full-time job with a spouse, a dog. She even dares to have friends. And she finds time to do things at church, like being a worship associate. I honestly do not know how she does it, and when she asked the question, is this actually a problem with attention, or is it just the intense demands upon my attention? All the rest of us nodded. Yeah, girl, I don't know. In Buddhism, sati, or conscious attention, is used to bring the mind back to the present moment. Bring the mind back to the body, to feelings that arise in the moment, to the state of the mind, and to big concepts that affect our understanding, like impermanence. While there are many soft practices today that are marketed as mindfulness, as quick fixes to ease roads back to happiness, to fix anxiety, the true Buddhist concept of sati, conscious attention or mindfulness, is rooted in centuries of deep, consistent spiritual practice. In her introduction to her book, Loving Kindness, The Revolutionary Art of Happiness, Buddhist author Sharon Salzberg teaches that the Buddha defined spiritual practice as the liberation of the heart. When we're able to set our hearts free in this very busy, frenetic world, free of the dizzying demands on our time and our attention, when we're able to do that, we're able to uncover the truth of the heart, which is love. Our true nature, every single human being, our depth of being is love, loving kindness. Deep within us, deep within all of us, there is peace, I promise, and tranquility and joy. But in order to get there, in order to get to that liberated heart of love, we do have to wade through layers and layers and layers of world-woven worries. Salzberg urges us to return to spiritual practice consistently in order to get there. Regular spiritual practice grounded in ancient wisdom can move us through those layers of busyness and anxiety and illusions and isolation, that we might arrive at the joyful, radiant heart of liberated love that exists inside each of us. In March of 2023, I was at a retreat when I looked out the bedroom window of the place I was staying, and I saw a peacock sitting on the table right in front of the window. It was just sitting there, hanging out a few feet from me, and I stood quietly in awe of its majestic beauty. I was just there with the peacock when I heard my roommate off in the distance calling to me about something or other, and I called her in as quietly as I could. When she came in, I put my finger to my lips And I ushered her over and I pointed out the window, and her eyes got big as she saw this incredible beauty in front of us. And she grabbed my arm and shook it. And in the quiet, we just watched this mystical creature that had come to visit us for whatever reason, and witnessed the beauty in connected silence. After a little bit, my roommate ran into the bathroom, which was a little bit further away from the peacock, but it had a better view of the feathers because it was behind it. And she called me over, and I watched the beautiful plume of feathers from there for a little while. And then after a while, we heard our next door neighbors rattling their front door, which was right next to the bathroom window. And after the joy of sharing this beautiful peacock with my roommate, I was so excited to share the beauty with them too. I could not wait until they popped out of the door and they would be like 10 feet away outside with the peacock. I would get to see their faces, and I was delighted with my anticipation of their joy. So finally, after much door banging, which I didn't understand, the young woman who was staying next door with her mom came out of the door from the front of our shared building. She was about 10 feet away from the peacock, and I turned to see her face for this sudden surprise beauty, and instead of her face blooming in delight, she said with some irritation, "Mom, I cannot get the door to lock." Her mom now had just come around the corner from the other direction, so her mom was on the other side of the peacock, walking towards her daughter. So I turned to Mom, and I was like, okay, Mom's gonna see the peacock now. And so Mom is marching towards her daughter, and she's moving quickly, marching directly at the peacock, which is in her path. She has no reaction to it. It's like she doesn't even see it. She walks right past it, and when she's right next to the peacock, she looks at it and goes, "Oh, hi." And then marches past it to her daughter and was like, "This is how you unlock the door or lock the door." And then they both stood at the door. The daughter never sees the peacock. She's just frustrated with the door lock. They work on the door lock for a couple of minutes. Meanwhile, the peacock got freaked out. It ran off. And then they left together, going off to wherever it was they were planning to go. Mindfulness. Presence in the here and now. It's not just another thing to do. Spiritual practice is not just one more should that you need to get checked off the list in order to be good. Mindfulness is the key that unlocks the presence of your life. Your life. Our lives. Life itself. It is happening right now. And it is only happening right now. Your life is not happening in the past, where you did that thing that makes you feel embarrassed when you think about it. And it's not happening in the future, where you're worried about that bad thing that could happen. It's not even happening in the good memories or in your hopes, as much as a balm to fear and loss as those things may be. Your life is only happening right now. And if you're somewhere else, hoping or scrolling or worrying, you're going to miss your life. You might end up standing there in front of a door, worrying about how to lock it, when a glorious peacock is fluttering her wings a few feet from you. And in that case, the real door is not locked in front of you. It's locked inside of you. The lock is on your heart. Spiritual practice, building the muscle of returning to now and returning again to now, and whoops, there goes the attention, returning again to now, of returning to the breath and the body and the feelings and the mind. It gives you the key to unlock your own heart, unlock your own life, which is living right here, right now. Dear ones, the world, it's busy. ADHD is probably co-conspiring with existence, making exorbitant demands on our attention. And the press of the attention grabbers is increasing all the time. Last week we heard our youth share with us. Ryan told us about the multi-billion-dollar economy that's driven just by capturing our attention. So let's be gracious and gentle with ourselves, because the infrastructure designed to steal our attention is big. It's powerful. And also, the tools to return our attention to the now are ancient. They are studied and practiced. The attention grabber's speed is new, but the return to now practice is not new. Human beings have struggled to be here now since our brains developed the capacity to wander off. We developed spiritual technology to resist the powers that be and that always have been wanting to keep our minds captured and obedient, productive to their ends. The good news is that we know how to bring our attention back to this moment, back to here, now, and to what matters, to our lives, to life itself. We have been practicing these ancient arts as human beings for millennia. And these arts, these practices, they are also powerful. There is a stream of consciousness that has been traveled by hundreds of thousands, by millions of people before us. That stream of consciousness has been running for thousands of years and gathering the power of the human mind for presence, for truth, for beauty, for love. All we have to do is attend to it. Attend to our own minds and bring them into the stream. There is a breath in between each beat of busyness. There is a note of silence, of ma, in between each sound. You can train your attention to come in to these pauses, into the silences and the settling in between all things. Spiritual practice strengthens our capacity to return to the here and now in the chaos, which rages. It continues. But we have the capacity to bring our mind back to our real lives, to the peacock, to our children, to the love right in front of us, the sunshine, the cat, the very real joy that's right here, right now. And even in between all of that sensation and beauty, there is also a deeper thing, a universal truth, universal mind, Buddha, nature, the Holy Spirit, love, God. The interdependent web of all life that breathes through and under all the layers of noise and thought and feeling. This greater interdependent of liveness, of which we're just one little part. It's always there and available. Sometimes it takes years to reach it, but sometimes it takes seconds. Its power, its peace, its beauty is constant. Even when the mind wanders away, worrying and planning and grieving. And while each of these habits has its uses in this material world, spiritual practice exists to bring us back to now, to the whole, to the peace and the love that is deep within each of us always. Our energy, our attention, our lives follow where we send our mind. So may we send it into that deep river of consciousness, practicing being here and now, and liberate our hearts to love. May it be so.
Don't let your mind get weary and confuse your will. Be still, don't try. Don't let your heart get heavy, child, inside you. There's a strength that lies. Don't let your soul get lonely, child, it's only time, it will go by. Don't look for love in faces, places, it's in you, that's where you'll find. put your trust in walls, 'cause walls will only crush you when they fall.
Dear ones, the world is busy, demanding, oppressive, and it always has been. May we use the ancient human tools of spiritual practice to awaken our hearts to here and now, to live our real lives with the liberated heart of love. May it be so. Will you rise in body or spirit for our recessional hymn number 298, Wake Now, My Senses.